guys, it's Shara from Woodshop Diaries, and I'm so excited to show you my new desk area.
I used my Craig rip cut and circular saw to rip two 13.5-inch strips off a few sheets. I built the shelves using these 13.5-inch wide strips and the desk section using the leftovers. So I cut two 94-inch long sides and three 30-inch long shelf panels for each bookshelf. I used my Craig pocket hole jig to drill pocket holes into the ends of each shelf panel, then assembled using pocket hole screws. Notice that I faced the pocket holes in the middle shelf toward the top. I didn't want to see the holes from the bottom, and since the shelves are so tall, unless you climb on the ladder, you'll never see those pocket holes. So I cut all my pieces for the face frame, then assembled it using wood glue and pocket hole screws. I glued and finish nailed the face frame on the front, making sure to keep the sides and the bottom flush. Then I puttied all the seams and the nail holes. Remember those leftover plywood strips from earlier? I grabbed two of those and ripped them down to 19 inches wide to make the desk cabinets. Then I assembled the cabinets using pocket holes and screws. I used another one of these leftover plywood strips for the desktop and ripped it to 20 inches wide, but I left it a full 8 foot long. I glued some scrap pieces along the edges and a couple in the middle where the insides of the cabinets would rest. While the glue dried, I started working on the drawer boxes. I ripped two of the leftover plywood strips in half to use as the drawer boxes and cut these strips to length for the sides of each box. And then I assembled the boxes using pocket holes and screws. I cut 1/4-inch plywood bottom panels to slide into the dados. Once the boxes were together, I installed them onto the slides in the cabinets. Then I cut 3/4-inch plywood drawer fronts, edge banded them, and installed those onto each drawer with screws from the inside. To finish up the countertop, I used 1.5-inch iron-on edge banding on the front and the sides. Then I brought the tall shelves and the desk pieces inside to start installing. To finish up the middle shelf section, I built the middle the same depth as the outside shelves, so I used some more of those 3.5-inch wide plywood strips to cut my pieces. I assembled two smaller sides using pocket holes and screws and drilled shelf pin holes into them to add adjustable shelves later. It was very important here to make sure that the overall width of this entire shelf was exactly the same width as the desk countertop, which was 8 feet. Then, just like with the tall bookshelves, I assembled a face frame. I puttied over the nail holes in the seams, sanded, and then carried it in and placed it on the desk to get ready for paint. I set the tall shelves and middle shelf up on some scrap blocks and primed and painted the outsides and face frames white. I came back after paint and applied a clear coat poly to the desk section. After the finish was dry, I moved the tall shelves next to the desk cabinets, removed the drawers, and then screwed them together. Then I screwed the middle section to the tall shelf as well. I used a few screws through the underside of the countertop to secure the vertical pieces of the middle shelf, then secured the tall shelves into the wall studs at the top. Once everything was secured in place, I added crown molding along the top. I just didn't like how these seams came together, so I added this half-round molding between them. Once the half-round was added, I primed and painted it, then screwed these lights in place. Okay, so the rail. I pre-drilled holes spaced out every 16 inches to correspond with the holes in the rails so that they would drive into the plywood shelf behind the face frame. Now, this meant that the holes were pretty close to the top edge of the face frame, so I was very careful drilling and driving here. Then I built the ladder. I cut the ends of the ladder sides with a 10-degree miter so that it would lean. I made sure that the ladder feet were flat on the ground and that the roller bars were straight up and down, then clamped it into position and screwed these in from the back side. I really hope you guys enjoyed the build. Thanks so much for watching, friends, and until next time, happy building!